This is the Jerusalem Post podcast travel edition. Coming up.
That was our driver Mustafa telling us if we feel sick while we go up and down on these sand dunes, let him know.
The nation is young, but the country has a history that dates back to the Paleolithic time.
The camel that you can hear, his or her face, is right next to my armpit. So hopefully I put on some body deodorant a little bit earlier today. So sit back and enjoy the trip with Mark Gordon and David Harris.
Hello, David.
Shalom, Mark, or salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam, my brother. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine, thank you. And that's as far as my Arabic goes.
Shukran. That's thank you. That's my Arabic done now.
Okay, and this is an English podcast, so what are we going to talk about for the next half hour?
I suppose we should explain why we're talking Arabic. We are in the United Arab Emirates, and it's been a while since we've been here.
We were here, a year and a half ago when we went, or maybe even 2 years, we went to a wonderful health spa.
It's more than 2 years ago since we were here. And one of the reasons we've come here is to celebrate the fact we're more than 100 episodes old. So what are we doing? We are going back to where it all started overseas.
The first time we came was to Abu Dhabi, to Yas Island. Now, we're not actually going to Yas Island this time. Now, you're going to correct me. Is it episode 11 where we go to Yas Island?
Well, I'll start my usual habit of correcting you, going, the first episode overseas was not at Yas Island. It was at Abu Dhabi Airport, where we met the chief executive of Wizz. And then we went canoeing under the Louvre in Sadia Island in Abu Dhabi.
Yas Island was a later podcast?
It was.
But it was on the same trip?
Yes. But what we didn't do when we were here last time is we didn't go into central Abu Dhabi. So that's what we're going to do this episode.
We're in a taxi from the airport to our hotel, and we're going to have a night kip, as we say in the United Kingdom, a sleep. And then we're going to take you a little bit around the city itself, and we may even wander out into the desert.
And when you say a night's kip, maybe half a night's kip, because it's already 12:30 by the time we hit our hotel. It's going to be 2 a.m, and I think we're out of the hotel at 7:30.
It's a tough life, isn't it?
Yes, feel sorry for us. Have sympathy.
Before we go to our next jingly thing, we have to say a big thank you to Costa Cruises, who are underwriting, I guess the word would be, this trip. You will have heard in a previous podcast our amazing journey on the Costa Smeralda, and they are showing us around the wonders of Abu Dhabi as well, which is what you're going to hear in a couple of minutes' time. But before that, quiz question.
I will tread a familiar path with the question. We'll go to a bit of etymology. What does Abu Dhabi mean?
The answer at the end of the podcast.
To talk the latest news in Israel, the Jewish world, and everything in between.
This is the J-Post Podcast. I'm Tamar Uriel-Beery, Deputy Editor-in-Chief of the Jerusalem Post.
And I'm Tzvika Klein, Editor-in-Chief of the Jerusalem Post.
And I'm Sarah Ben-Nun, Night Editor at the Jerusalem Post. Join us as we bring some of the most impactful voices to bring you into what it means to be Jewish, to be Israeli today.
Every week, we bring you with us into the newsroom in every sense.
Stop being so dramatic. This is just our coffee break.
You can find us every Thursday on jpost.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We'll see you there.
Yalla, bye.
Jolly good morning to you.
It's really good. We seem to have come to a shopping mall. I didn't think that was the plan.
We're headed to the number one attraction. I shouldn't call it an attraction, but it is the number one attraction in Abu Dhabi, the capital of the Emirates.
And according to TripAdvisor, it's the number 3 attraction out of 750 top attractions in the world.
In the world?
In the world.
We approached this area and saw minarets and domes. I mean, it is stunning from the outside. It looks like white marble. The parking area is enormous, to the extent that we went into the wrong parking entrance to the entire compound and had to travel another mile to go round to the other side.
We have come to the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque. This is the biggest mosque in the United Arab Emirates. It has a capacity of 40,000 worshippers, and to put that into context, when you're at Madison Square Garden, it holds less than 20,000 people. So you'll get twice the capacity of Madison Square Gardens here.
We've descended into the bowels of the earth down a long escalator. We're surrounded by lots of people whom I assume are going to worship or to visit the mosque. Right now passing us is a group of people dressed in beautiful mixes of Muslim garb, and they look as though they have probably come from somewhere in Southeast Asia.
During our time, David and I have been to the Taj Mahal. We've been to the Vatican, not necessarily with the podcast, but we've been there. These are like the great worshipping points of the world. I don't remember any of them at the entrance having McDonald's, Starbucks, Costa coffee. What else have we got? Pinkberry frozen yogurt. It's all here on the way in.
We are in an underground shopping mall. Now, I came here back in 2007, about a month or 2 months after the mosque opened, and I don't remember any of this being here. I mean, maybe it was, but I was certainly not brought here. I was whisked straight into the mosque. I don't even remember the massive parking area outside, but given the fame that this mosque has garnered around the world, it means that it is incredibly, incredibly popular, both with worshippers and with visitors.
The most useful stop in this shopping mall probably is the gift shop, where they sell all sorts of approved attire. Don't come to this mosque in a pair of shorts or a bikini or a miniskirt or anything like that. Don't have your tattoos on show. You need to be modestly dressed. And this shop here has the dress code and can fit you with sleeves for your arms, sleeves for your legs, and if you want the full attire to worship appropriately.
So are we shopping or are we going to see the worshipping?
Let's go and see the worshipping, because you and I are almost sensibly dressed. This is Mark Gordon from the Jerusalem Post podcast Travel Edition. Find us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at MarkDavidPod, or mail us at markdavidpod@gmail.com.
You're listening to the Jerusalem Post podcast Travel Edition with Mark Gordon and myself, David Harris. We're in Abu Dhabi. We're in the focal point, perhaps certainly for visitors, of this emirate. Mark.
Hello, David.
Hello.
Where's your microphone? It looks more like just a phone. Apologies, listeners, if the sound quality is a little crackly. We're not allowed to record with microphones and audio equipment here, but we are in the centre of the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque in Abu Dhabi, in the plaza, the prayer area in the middle. It is vast and it is amazing. There is so much to see and so much to learn. Let's ask an expert.
Hello, hi, my name is Elisabetta. I'm the tour guide for today. The mosque is the 8th largest one in the world. It's the largest of the Middle East and is the most important of the UAE. Anyway, this mosque was built and taught from the Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, considered the father of the nation and also the first president for 4 times until his death, and is buried in the Grand Mosque here. This area that is 555,000 square meters. They started to build in 1996 and finished in 2007.
It's very white with gold intermingled in it. There's a lot of, looks like marble. Can you tell us about the building materials, where they came from, the lighting, all of the things that make up this wonderful structure?
When you arrive, you reach the mosque, you have to know the first important things. The Sheikh Zayed built the mosque at 9 meters on the floor, so people, when is reaching the mosque, can see from far the mosque, 9 meters high from the floor. Then it's white, and it is what strikes you more when you arrive to the mosque. The marble came from Macedonia, India and China, the outside marble, and the inside marble came from Italy, from Carrara.
We should at this point point out, if people are trying to figure out your accent, that is your home country.
Yes, I'm proud for that, of course, because I came from Italy. architect coming from UK. And we have the main prayer room with the 3 domes that we can see. There are also 2 World Guinness records inside the main prayer room. This area is in concrete and was built by 36 UK companies.
You mentioned that there are 2 world records. Not that I'm into world records, but whenever people listen to travel podcasts, they expect to hear about the biggest, the tallest, the brightest, the grandest. So what are the 2 records in here?
The 2 world records is one for the largest carpet in the world, is 5,770 square meter, and was knotted by hand by 200 women in iron. When they finished this carpet, they realized that it was too big to make the transportation from Iran to UAE. So they cut the carpets and then they bring the people again and they knotted again inside the main prayer. The second World Guinness record is for the largest chandelier, 12 tons. That shapes is as a palm tree reverted, and there are 4,000 pieces of Swarovski and gold, 24 carats, and the Murano glasses, and they are represented from the dates of the palm, the Murano glasses. So it's what strikes you more, because there are 3 chandeliers. The one in the middle is the largest. Then the other 2 are the same shape but different size.
Shall we go inside?
Let's.
Have you listened to the Jerusalem Post podcast Travel Edition yet? Hi there, I'm David Harris, and together with co-host Mark Gordon, we bring you the very best of the world of travel.
We've had our safety instructions and we're in a basket.
Either the cars are shrinking or we're going higher.
Now sat on a high chair.
You're listening to the last will and testament of Mark Simon Gordon.
We're in the independent micronation of Ujupis.
If I wasn't married, I'd be chasing away your indigenous 78-year-old and taking you for myself.
The drink afterwards, just to calm my nerves, will be number 1, but this is definitely up there.
The Jerusalem Post podcast Travel Edition brings you the joys of travel and tourism. So why not subscribe today wherever you get your podcasts? We followed a long trail. You have to walk a very circuitous route to get inside, and we're now inside the mosque. We've been walking through marble archways and stunning flooring outside, and then you come into the mosque, and for me it's completely different to the first time I came in here back in 2007 when the mosque was only a month old. You came a very quick way, you took off your shoes obviously, walked onto the carpet and stood next to people at prayer.
I think when you're standing in the square, you get a feeling of modesty. Although it's large and grand, it's white with flecks of gold. You come in here into the main prayer hall, and the centerpiece is this chandelier, and it is so full of color. Other than the white crystal, there's greens, there's yellows, there's reds. It is enormous, and it hangs over a green and white and red colorful carpet. There are words in Arabic all over the wall. It's a totally different feel to the outside.
To go back to a previous podcast, we were in a couple of synagogues in Azerbaijan. And do you remember we were really surprised that first of all we had to take off our shoes, but also that there were carpets everywhere. And it had that feel, even though it was a Jewish place of worship, that you could be in a mosque. This is on a completely different scale. But do you get where I'm coming from?
I do, and I think here it also, it's trying to portray the nation, that Abu Dhabi is like a grand nation and it's the leading nation amongst the Emirates. In those synagogues there was that connection to the country, the pictures of the Azerbaijani war in Susa. Here you get a feeling of the colours, maybe the green and the white and the red is the flag. It's beautiful. I know you're not a big fan of like Gaudi things. That chandelier wouldn't go in my living room, but it's just mesmerising.
It's spectacular. If anybody's listening from the United Kingdom, and I know this is going to be absolute blasphemy, it reminds me of the Blackpool Illuminations.
Almost like Blackpool Tower, is that big?
At the start of this little piece, I said things have changed. In those days when the mosque first opened, there were no tourists. We are now surrounded by thousands of tourists. Nobody's allowed to walk on the carpet anymore. They've put in walkways to protect the marble and carpet, so nobody is taking off their shoes. It's an utterly different experience.
I think one of the sad stories about this mosque is it was the brainchild of the founder of the nation, Sheikh Zayed. Work started here in 1996. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2004 and the mosque was completed in 2007. So he never got to see his work. Almost like Gaudi in Barcelona and the Sagrada Familia, he never got to see the work finished, although in the Sagrada Familia, 100 years later, it's still not finished, so no one would have been able to see it finished.
But Sheikh Zayed is actually buried in an area which the public can't visit, but just a couple of 100 feet away from where we are right now.
Discover the future with Inside Israeli Innovation. I'm Eve Young from the Jerusalem Post, bringing you exclusive insights from Israel's top innovators. Each week, we dive into the latest trends in tech, business, and beyond with interviews from the brightest minds in the industry. Whether it's cutting-edge startups or revolutionary tech breakthroughs, Inside Israeli Innovation is your front row seat to the startup nation. Subscribe now on your favorite podcast platform and stay ahead of the curve. Inside Israeli Innovation, where innovation meets inspiration.
So that's the mosque. Apart from more shopping, of course, on the way out, and you have to go through, on the way out, the mosque souvenir store. Elisabetta, let's talk about Abu Dhabi. So you started telling me as we were walking through the vast corridors to get back to the shopping mall that you can actually trace the history 100,000 years.
The nation is young, but the country has a history that dates back to the Paleolithic time. That time they were living of agriculture life in the desert. There were many tribes, but the most important tribes was the Asbani tribes. It was a tribe that was superior as a number, and they were the skills to defend the area. They were very good for that. The small tribes starting to join to this big tribe. They used the falcon as a weapon to hunter.
And the falcon, of course, is still used today by men around the country.
Yes, because now is the symbol of the country, the falcon. That's why, because they wanted to respect who helped them in the past. The Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan wanted to maintain all the tradition of the past, also in the present time. During that time, in the winter they lived in the desert, and in the summer they were used to live in the sea. So from the desert they move part of them in the area that right now is Dubai, and part of them were going to Abu Dhabi. So they started to build Abu Dhabi, but not exactly in that time, because at the beginning they lived from diving pearl and fishing. This was the life that they had.
Standing in this shopping mall under the mosque with Tim Horton there and McDonald's, this wasn't built on the traditional like hunting and pearl diving. It's oil. Oil is the source of the main wealth in this country.
They have 10% of the world reserve of oil, 3% of gas, 9% of desalinated water.
I think a lot of people know about Dubai. Certainly if they've listened to our podcast, they will have heard the many, many fun things and interesting things you can do in Dubai. People know a lot less about Abu Dhabi. If somebody came for a week, what should they do here? You
have to know that they focus on the culture. Abu Dhabi is a modern and traditional city. It's known as elegant city, and it's true, it is. We have the cultural district that is not completed right now, but Abu Dhabi is on 200 natural islands. Sadiyat Island is one of the most beautiful islands with white beaches, hotels and residences. So it's really nice. But there is also the cultural district. In this cultural district we have Louvre Abu Dhabi, Guggenheim Museum, Abrahamic Family House. Then we have the Science Historical Museum, the Sheikh Zayed Museum, they are building a mall, but there are many other attractions in the city that you can visit.
A word that you see everywhere around Abu Dhabi is tolerance. There was a walk of tolerance here at the mosque. Tell us about tolerance in Abu Dhabi.
I can tell you something that symbolizes what we are talking about. Inside the presidential palace, whose name is Casa Ruatana, there is a sculpture. There are all the Arabic calligraphy. The name of this sculpture is The Power of the Word. And this is a sentence that pronounced the Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan, who came when he started to live in this presidential palace. The sentence says there is no richness in the oil or in the money, but in the people. But if they don't give to the others, there is no richness. So this is what we can say about the tolerance.
Abu Dhabi Fact File. The main airport of the Emirate of Abu Dhabi is Abu Dhabi International Airport, also known as Zayed International. The main flag carrier is Etihad, which will take you to New York, Chicago, Washington, Toronto, London, Paris, Tel Aviv, and most major capital cities. Wizz Air Abu Dhabi operate routes to 21 countries, including Israel. The airport is 30 minutes from downtown Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi Cruise Terminal and Saadiyat Island are about 10 minutes drive to Yas Island. Recommended hotels include, for the downtown area, the Emirates Palace, Rosewood and St Regis. For Saadiyat Island, the Rixos, the Jumeirah and the Rotana. And for Yas Island, there is the Hilton Yas Island and the W at Yas Marina Circuit. $100 will buy you 367 UAE dirham. Abu Dhabi has a desert climate and sunny blue skies can be expected throughout the year. The months of June through September are generally extremely hot and humid, with average daytime temperatures over 40 degrees Celsius, 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Emirati food is infused with spices and ingredients from throughout Asia and the Middle East. Think cinnamon, saffron, turmeric, nuts, limes and dried fruit. Being a coastal city, fish is the star of many local dishes. Vegetarian Indian food can be found widely, including the Bika Nirvala Indian restaurant. Sababa is a kosher restaurant located in the Mushrif Mall in Abu Dhabi.
Once again, we're recording by telephone because we've come into an official governmental building, but with a big, big difference. Elisabetta, where are we?
We are in the Abrahamic family house. This is a concept that tells us about what the royal family and Abu Dhabi thinks about the tolerance. So we have one synagogue, one Catholic church, and one mosque, all together in one gate, with the plaza in the middle, with some bars where the people can share the timing all together. That means that the people can stay without any prejudice on all together, even they come from different religions. Now we are inside the synagogue. The description of the three buildings are all the same from outside, but inside, of course, are different.
There's a classic Monty Python sketch that says, "Who'd have thought we'd be sat here on an island drinking Chateau de Chasselet?" And essentially it's four coal miners talking about where they've come from. Who'd have thought we would be standing here in the centre of Abu Dhabi in a synagogue that is newly built next to a church and next to a mosque? Amazing, amazing things have happened here. Do you know when this was built and when the whole centre was opened?
Yes, it was opened on 23 March 23. It's the concept that they want to share with all the people coming here.
So let me give a quick description of where we are. We have the Aron Kodesh, the Ark, and next to it the chair of maybe the rabbi, or maybe this is for Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet, which is used during the circumcision. To its right there is a Chanukiah, and above we have the Ten Commandments. and in the middle there is the bima, the podium from which the Torah scroll is read, but also on there is a prayer for the state of the United Arab Emirates and a prayer for the wisdom of its rulers. We're in a large structure which, once you get above the marble, it reaches into the skies. I guess it's almost like V's and N's next to each other of a metal structure which is brown. In between is a bank of glass in all four directions, leading up to a ceiling which is two triangles, one of which is completely covered in a similar style to the metal, and the other is glass leading to the heavens.
One thing you didn't mention was the netting to give that Middle Eastern tent feeling that you're in Abu Dhabi, that they are originally a nomadic tribe.
And it's Abrahamic.
Yes. So you've got the tent of Abraham, essentially.
Perfect, thank you for adding that. Let's go and see what else there is to see here.
Yes, this is the next one.
I'm surrounded by octopuses, mushrooms, stingrays, jellyfish, and I'm about to hit my balls into a snail.
Just the experience of watching two robot arms making your cocktail for you.
I've got this strapping thing on and a very small piece of metal that is going to hold my body on a rope.
And we were fighting as snow shifters
Against Yetis. So we're both in very nice floral dresses.
You're listening to the Jerusalem Post podcast travel edition with Mark Gordon and David Harris. We travelled through the three faiths. We saw the synagogue, we also saw a beautiful Catholic church, interestingly, with a statue of Mary inside. For those of you who maybe don't know, the idea of three-dimensional statuary in the image of a human is not something that is particularly welcome in the Muslim world or in the Islamic world, and yet here, in the spirit of tolerance within the church, there is a statue of Mary. We then wanted to come to visit the mosque, but Mark,
It's competition day. There's the Quran competition going on inside the mosque, which means we're not allowed in it.
I'm assuming many of you listening to this, if you're Jewish, will know that in the yeshiva world, there are competitions on a regular basis for people learning Talmud, the younger ones who can recite as much of the Mishnah as possible, and the older ones are being quizzed on the Talmud, where they have to know exactly which page out of the thousands and thousands of pages a particular legal responsa will be, or perhaps a particular quote from a rabbi. Exactly the same thing happens in the Muslim world. Something interesting, I think, to mention is that we're with a couple of guides. There is Elisabetta, who you met, and we are also with Federica, who is our wonderful aid and support from Costa Cruises. They're both Catholic, we're both Jewish. When we went into the synagogue, Mark and I put on a hat, a kippah. When we went into the church, at the end, they went to the font with the holy water at the back, and both crossed themselves. And that is something that is happening here in the United Arab Emirates, in the heart of the Gulf, in the centre of the Muslim world. In terms of the Jewish side of all of this, of course, this is a very recent development, at least in the political sphere.
Yes, cast your mind back to 2020 and the signing of the Abraham Accords on the White House lawn with Bahrain, with the United Arab Emirates, Israel. Donald Trump was in the background as well, and it was a window of hope into a better world. 4 or 5 years later, we can see it in action, that it's not just words, it's happening. You have the three faiths here. This hopefully will continue on throughout the Middle East, into Saudi Arabia, into Oman, into Qatar, and countries like that. And, you know, we're standing here in the Emirates, and people are walking past us talking Hebrew, going to a mosque, then a church, to a synagogue, and it all takes place in peace and quiet.
You might not have noticed, right behind you there is just an informational directional panel. There are the international symbols for a cloakroom, for bathroom, for information, and to the left there is the crescent telling you where the mosque is. Underneath in Arabic, and forgive my Arabic, it says Masjid, or Masjid, which is a mosque. Then in English it says mosque, and at the bottom there are 4 letters in a language that the vast majority of people who come to this place will not understand. They are Mem, Samach, Gimel, Dalad, the Hebrew letters that spell out the word Misgad or mosque.
One of the things that gives me a lot of joy and is one of the high points of this podcast is whichever country we go to, we tend to end up visiting a synagogue. I think there's something really special about coming to Abu Dhabi, the first country we came to on the podcast, and now standing in a synagogue, looking around and seeing the respect that there is for religion in this country.
You're listening to the Jerusalem Post podcast Travel Edition. Find us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at MarkDavidPod, or mail us at markdavidpod@gmail.com. We're leaving the capital city Abu Dhabi behind, but we are still in Abu Dhabi, the Emirate, which covers 80% of the total landmass of the United Arab Emirates. We're currently in traffic, but I imagine pretty soon the traffic is going to dissipate.
I do like it when traffic dissipates, David. We have had a wonderful morning of tolerance and religion and enjoying the best of Abu Dhabi society. We can forget that this afternoon. We're going to get down and dirty in the desert. That was our driver Mustafa telling us if we feel sick while we go up and down on these sand dunes, let him know. We are about to ascend. David has got a nice comfortable seat at the front. He's just watching. I'm holding on for dear life and trying to record at the moment. Oh, for those of you that have been to Israel, it's very similar to driving on a normal road. It's very, very up and down. We're up, we're down. Just to make things feel better, there's another car in front of us, so we can see it bouncing in the air. Oh, oh crumbs! Mustafa there just distracted us by saying, see the falcon. And as he did that, we just went down this massive drop.
Insane!
Excellent, that was fun.
Oh my God! I can't see the end. Oh Lord! There's 6 of us in this car. We're from India, we're from Pakistan, we're from Israel, we're from Abu Dhabi, and the one thing that unites us is we're all going to be screaming in the next minute. Because we've got other people in the car, Dave and I are trying our best not to swear and prove that we are English gentlemen. However, so as I say, this is called dune bashing. I'm now going to do something which is David's favourite sport, influencer bashing. We were supposed to go to a camel farm and play with the camels, but because influencers have no sense of time, we're straight onto the dune bashing without the stuff. Oh my gosh, we're definitely going around the corner. Don't encourage him, David. I heard that. He said, what speed can you get up to? I'm more worried about what angle he can stay at. I think I'd rather be back at the mosque. It was very peaceful.
We should be praying, I'll tell you that.
Yes. Well, we went to a church, a mosque, and a synagogue this morning. So if one of those gods is correct... For those of you that can hear the radio, he just said, speed up, they're not crying yet.
So I get the front row view of all of this. It is absolutely stunning out there, aside from all of our giddiness. You would not believe that there was civilization just across a few sand dunes. All we can see for miles in front of us right now is sand. Occasional bits of green, but predominantly this is just us and billions of grains of sand. It is very peaceful, apart from when they're revving the engines. It's very serene, but most of all, it's just a wonderful opportunity to get out of the town, to see what Abu Dhabi, the Emirate, has to offer. You're listening to the Jerusalem Post podcast, Travel Edition, with Mark Gordon and myself, David Harris, and my new friend, a camel. Oh, bless you. I am about to mount a camel, which I've never done before. I've been told I need to sit at the back. Oh gosh, that's a little bit sore where it... Oh, I beg your pardon. Amazing noises there. I'm waiting for the journey to begin. In front of me are two influencers who I believe might be potentially Russian, who are on the front camel. Then we have a camel with nobody on in front of me because nobody obviously wants to sit near me. And then behind me we have a lovely, lovely lady who only married 6 months ago and is wearing the most divine suit I have ever seen.
Uzbekistan.
I love Uzbekistan. Where in Uzbekistan did you get it?
I went to Samarkand, Bukhara, Tashkent, and then I went to some villages over there. It was beautiful and gorgeous.
So if you want to, you can go back and listen to our 2 podcasts from Uzbekistan, taking in Tashkent, Bukhara and Samarkand.
Oh wow, I would love to. He's angry.
Hello. The camel that you can hear is actually behind me, not the one that I'm sitting on, but his or her face is right next to my armpit. So hopefully I put on some body deodorant a little bit earlier today. Does the camel have a name?
His name is Golgolo.
Golgolo? Yeah. So apparently my camel's name is Golgolo. Is it a boy or a girl?
It's girl.
Are they all girls?
No, other 3 boys.
Oh, so there were 3 boy camels and I got the girl camel whose name is Golgolo.
Lean back.
Lean back. Uh-oh, here we go. I've been told to lean back. I think that means we might be going. Hopefully I'm not going to drop the phone. I'm recording on a phone and not the normal recording gear. Okay, we've got to hold on very tight and lean back. A little bit nervous about this. First time on a camel. Mark opted out. He's just filming me or taking photographs. And we're going up. Oh my Lord. Well, that was quite something. Golgolo, you go, girl. Ow. I'll tell you what. Riding a camel is not really a boy's thing. We're not really made for this type of thing. Our anatomy is somewhat different. So you're listening to the Jerusalem Post podcast travel edition, and for the first time, it's being brought to you from the back of Camel Golgolo, out in the deserts of the empty quarter of the United Arab Emirates, the capital emirate of Abu Dhabi. More after this. We've done dune bashing, we've done camel riding, or at least I did, and now we're doing Egyptian.
Yes, we are watching what is called a tanuri dancer. I think in Tunisia they call it dervishes. It's basically a man that spins round and round and round without falling down, which is like me after a few cocktails, but he is still going after 5 minutes of very loud music. He has layer after layer of clothing on, and at some point he even lights up. Amazing.
Now, I have to say, I don't think you need to tell anybody that there's loud music in the background.
No, we are sitting by a stage in what is called the desert camp, the Desert Rose Desert Camp. It is a whole event space. We're going to be watching 3 or 4 different types of dancing. In the background there are sand dunes if you want to go sandboarding. The dancer is just about to take someone else on stage.
So we've got a whole group that we're spending the day with, and of course one of those who's been picked up is from our group.
Yes, I think Katya from our group is about to put on a tanuri skirt and go spinning. She looks horrified, but yet is never going to say no, not if there's a camera pointing at her. This is going to be awesome.
Look out for videos of this and so much more on our YouTube channel, and of course on Instagram and elsewhere across social media. Just look for @MarkDavidPod.
Just a quick update, she did 3 turns and she's done.
She didn't fall over though, to her credit. Is myth like what someone is before they become a Mrs.?
Have we just come back from a winery and we're a little bit sicker?
This is the most bizarre tourist attraction in Israel, I reckon.
I'm going for a steak. Let's hope it will love me tender.
A juniper bush! A juniper bush!
And he's buried here and in Jerusalem, possibly. There's a bird behind me. I need to run, but I've got no legs.
You're listening to the Jerusalem Post podcast travel edition with Mark Gordon and David Harris. You would like to think that when all the lights are turned off in the desert, that people would finally be quiet. I'm not talking about those around me, but rather the fact that Mark and I, or at least me at this moment, are making a noise. Hopefully you can hear me above the wind which has just started whistling through this Bedouin encampment.
What an evening. What a trip.
It certainly is. Abu Dhabi is not just the city, it's not just that amazing Emirates Palace Hotel and the water and the mangroves and the Louvre and all of those cultural highlights. And of course, what we saw today, the Abrahamic family house, which, as you clearly heard from us, we were a little bit emotional to see something that is such a sign of something positive in this part of the world.
And this afternoon we got to enjoy an excursion that you can do with Costa Cruises if you land in Abu Dhabi, with the Desert Rose Company. We've been dune bashing. We would have been with the camels, but for some late comers, although you've been on a ride on a camel, we've had a Bedouin meal in the desert. We've seen belly dancers. We've seen fire shows. We've seen whirling tandoori dances. We've seen everything. And we haven't even seen the falcons yet. There's still falcons to come, and there's more alcohol if we desire.
Which is quite amazing when you think about that we're so close to Mecca and we're in the Muslim world. But if you are somebody who is non-Muslim, then you are invited to drink alcohol at this particular camp at a cost. But that is the price that one pays, quite literally.
It's time for a few thank yous, I think.
It's been really a tremendous day. This was facilitated by the team at Costa, the marketing team of
Katya and Federica, because David's no good with names.
I absolutely am not. Go on, who else then?
Mustafa, our driver this evening. Elisabetta, our guide this morning.
Elisabetta was amazing. And talking of Mustafa, I must have another drink. There's one on the table.
I must have another few.
If you've enjoyed this podcast, then why don't you follow us, like us, share us, tell all your friends that it's a very special place. Sometimes we take you to distant shores, sometimes we bring you stories of the Jewish world, and sometimes we talk about our home base, Israel. So please do share. You can mail us at markdavidpod@gmail.com. You'll find us across social media at markdavidpod, although so far Mark's not been brave enough to open a TikTok account.
I'm not good at lip syncing, but we do have Instagram, we have YouTube, we have Facebook, we have X, and you can find us in the Jerusalem Post, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on Spreaker, on anywhere that has podcasts, really.
Before we say goodbye, it's time for Mark to regale you with the answer to his quiz question. But first, what was the quiz question? Mark?
Are you keeping all of that in?
Yeah, I think I'll leave that in.
Okay. Have another drink, David. I don't think you've had enough yet. Just in case you're wondering, Abu Dhabi is not a completely dry country. There are places where you can have a drink. The question...
I'm leaving that in as well.
Oh, revenge. The quiz question was, why is Abu Dhabi called Abu Dhabi? And no Flintstone jokes here. Yes. It's called Abu Dhabi because Abu means father and Dhabi means gazelle. Father of the gazelle. That sounds a bit strange.
And the music just came on as Mark was about to regale you with the rest of his Abu Dhabi answer.
So the gazelle story relates to Sheikh Shahbut Al Nahyan, one of the first leaders of Abu Dhabi, who was very into hunting and found a gazelle on one of his hunting trips and thought this should be the national symbol of Abu Dhabi. Hence the name. Dhabi is gazelle, Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi do.
Oh, David.
Folks, it's been a pleasure. I guess you'll hear the music in the background. Everybody's been cleared out of this encampment. They're being sent back to the cities of Dubai and Abu Dhabi.
And if you want to experience this trip, we recommend doing it with Costa, going on their cruise between Abu Dhabi and Dubai and beyond, and have a really great time. See you soon.
And it doesn't cost a plenty. Bye!
Bye! Bye!